Alright guys, welcome to Hypersonic Crypto. Today we'll be talking about the market and we will go into the news. Alright guys, so I just want to congratulate the winner this week. It's going to be Crulito or Crulito, I'm not sure. But congratulations, it's on its way right now. Let's get the music going. Oh, interesting. My sound is all messed up. Oh well. So we'll just go without the sound today. So essentially, the Bitcoin's on the way. It'll be here in a little bit. Congratulations. My portfolio as of this moment is going pretty well. It hasn't changed too much. Again, we've been bouncing around the same price for a couple months here. Bitcoin, Hive, USD Coin, Crypto.com, Hive Power, XRP, Doge, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and we have about, again, $10 to $11 per day. And again, my breakdown of where everything's at. Again, I have some charts for everyone right now. Let's see if I can get that sound flowing here. It's kind of weird that it's choosing to go to the wrong one. I don't like that at all. Okay. I'm not sure why that's happening, but okay. Huh, odd. No idea. Maybe if I plug in and replug in my stuff. We'll see. Sorry for delay, people. Look. Oh well, not even gonna worry about that. Yeah, everything's going well there. This is the cash flow for everything going on right now. Again, I tend to go from exchanges either straight to storage or I try to put it to work, the large cap coins. These are all the platforms I've talked about before: Free Bitcoin, BlockFi, Crypto.com, and Nexo. Links to the description below if you're interested in participating in those programs. Again, I have skin in the game there and I'm making a decent side income there. What to expect when you go there: 4 to 18% more sometimes if you put in a little bit more into their platform. And I'm referencing about where they're at. So for Bitcoin, Celsius Network, Nexo tend to be around 4 to 5%. BlockFi tends to be 6 to 8%, with the upper tier of Nexo being 10, and Crypto.com being the CD of the crypto world at the moment, unless you go into DeFi, which is more experimental. The market's down today. Just some kind of sell-off at the moment. Nothing crazy. We're still above 10K. As far as we know, the floor of Bitcoin has been above 10K or right around 10K, so it's not too much to worry about at the moment. The big news this week was that MicroStrategy CEO bought Bitcoin, about $400 million worth, which equates to about $20,000 to $30,000 worth of Bitcoin. And the reason why it's really interesting is that most of them are buying over the counter right now. Anybody who's buying that much Bitcoin is buying over the counter because they don't want to affect the price of Bitcoin. MicroStrategy specifically decided to buy the spot price, which is why it went from like low 10s to over 11K over the weekend. When they bought it, it shot the price up. And that's just an example of when people actually put their money into Bitcoin, the price goes up. So as opposed to over the counter or futures. And again, just to describe the process, I believe I went over the counter a bit last week. Over the counter is essentially when you go to a broker that will sell you Bitcoin en masse at a fixed price away from the spot market. So it's like you're handing over physically the Bitcoin to someone, and it's not going through an exchange where it would be seen by everyone, and then we would know that the price would go up. So the only way for the price to go up from an over-the-counter sale is when the over-the-counter distributor actually has to restock their Bitcoin. And we've seen that recently as well when it went from 9K to 12K. That's the example of how dramatic the market can get when a buyer from the over-the-counter scene goes back into the market trying to restock their reserves. Until that happens, the market just tends to sit flat for a while. Futures, not the best thing for Bitcoin. Futures essentially mean, and it just depends. Backed is actually relatively good because they settle in physical Bitcoin, which means that they are buying Bitcoin and delivering that Bitcoin, which means that it plays on the scarcity of Bitcoin. When you're talking about futures that have nothing to do with Bitcoin itself, like the CME or the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, then what's happening is that they are placing their money in a share of Bitcoin that isn't actually Bitcoin. And what they're doing is they're betting long and short. At the moment, we have a bunch of longs at like the 30K range for like December. So we're going to keep an eye on that one. So the gap might actually help the price this time around, but we shall see. Or they can short it for below the spot price. So let's say 9,000, 8,000, 6,000, right? And so when that happens, essentially all of that money that could be going into the asset is not. This is why I don't like futures. This is what derivatives do. They actually take money away from the market. The benefit we have as opposed to gold or silver is that with gold we know how much Bitcoin there is as opposed to gold, which they don't know really the finite amount of gold. So essentially what they can do is get away with doing this massive fractional reserve like system where they can inflate the amount of gold there actually is because they don't actually know. Whereas as opposed to Bitcoin, if they tried to do that, someone would find out pretty quickly, because if they said, oh, we're going to give you a share of this much Bitcoin and it was over the 21 million cap, someone's going to blow the whistle. So eventually they can't actually manipulate the price too much. The other thing is for them to artificially lower the price without inflating the amount of Bitcoin there are costs a lot of money over time, billions, especially with the scarcity that Bitcoin is at. Remember, there are 21 million Bitcoin, of which 3 to 5 is forever locked away. Then we have another about 10 million, which is in the hands of people like you, me, and the original holders back in the day. So that leaves very little. So when someone buys spot and they buy something like $400 million worth of Bitcoin, which is again 20 to 30,000 coins, we've had princes buy that much as well. It's just it's a land grab. They're taking a lot off the market, and it's not going to hit right now, but when it does it, it's going to go up. When the futures can no longer contain the price, when over-the-counter markets can no longer contain the price, it's going to shoot up. And there's the chance it could go up by like 5,000 or more. It's done 1, 2, 3,000 in a day before. I've been around when the price does that. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Again, they can't do this forever. Stock to flow, we talked about that as well. If you look at the previous halving, stock to flow tends to lag below where the actual amount is rising to. So 2017, for example, it's about half the price of where the model say it might be most of that time. So right now, again, drunk prediction, I would say the Bitcoin would be around 15,000 by Christmas. I don't have a crystal ball. We'll see what happens. Just a lot of interesting things going on here. Don't forget, if the price does go down, goes below 10K again, goes below 9, 8, 7K, the lower the price goes, the more you run into the hardcore Bitcoin holders. Large businesses have only been in around the price since it was like 5, 6,000. So again, the lower you go, you run into the people who aren't going to sell. So there is like a titanium floor to Bitcoin, which a lot of people don't know. So when they see it go up and down, well, it's like, well, I mean, it can only go so low because, again, they would have to abandon their positions. I'm talking about the large businesses. And then, people like you and me would buy it, and then they would lose their position. So they're shooting themselves in the foot. Don't forget that this part of the market cycle, we're in pure disbelief right now. We're over 10K, we're post the halving, but we haven't quite hit 2021 yet, so we're hitting the disbelief phase. This is a sucker's rally. well, this rally will fail like all the others. It's going to do whatever. But as soon as we hit like 13 to 15K, we're going to get massive FOMO, which is one reason I think that we keep hitting 11 and 12K, and some whale or someone keeps selling it off. So we're never quite over 12K. So they're trying to create that mental feeling like, oh, we're not quite there yet. But again, now, at least for me, now's the time to buy. So, because once you hit 12, 13, 15K, it's going to be too late. FOMO's going to kick in, and it's going to go very fast. So we'll see what happens. Again, everything's not looking too good right now. It's just a small drop, 3%, nothing crazy. Ethereum's going down just because the hardest hit coins were the DeFi coins, the ones that are doing like 1,000% returns this year, because they're on the Wild West even more than Bitcoin is. So that's what's going on. Other than that, yeah, not too much going on in the market right now. But things are going pretty well. I'm still having a decent income. Life is good during this pandemic, and California's on fire. I hope all of you are safe and doing well. So I'll see you next week, guys. Be well. Oh, and if you want to be part of the giveaway, please like, subscribe, leave a comment with your Bitcoin address, and you'll be automatically entered into the giveaway, which I do each video, about $10 or so. Again, be safe, guys. Be well. See you next time.